outside of Waukegan. I grew up around the area for about 20 years plus. It was a very rough neighborhood as a child, and my family tree wasn't the best either. I went through a lot of things as a child growing up within the family, and I think that was the beginning of what placed me in such a dark place. I was really young. I was, I don't know, starting 6th grade when I was starting to feel like I was in my dark moments. And then from then, it didn't get any better. I then got myself into bad relationships, toxic relationships. I was dealing with domestic violence throughout my 20s. I'm now 28, glad that's over, but in the beginning of my 20s was also pretty rough. I went through a lot of darkness. Yeah, it was pretty intense what I went through. There was moments where I could have lost my life, and my kids were also a part of it. It was 2 years ago when I first started coming to Journey. I was facing what I can say one of the toughest moments in my life. And I was left with multiple questions and no answers, and just confused and depressed. And so at that point, I had nowhere else to turn to. I was just lost. I've been to churches before growing up, Catholic churches, specifically with my parents. But it was nothing that really, I knew who God was, I just didn't know of God. I was young and I was lost and I had no guidance whatsoever. So I believe at my younger days, I absolutely knew who he was, but I didn't know him on a deeper level. So 2 years ago when I stepped foot into Journey, I got an invitation. The person that invited me knew what I was going through, and she said, come on over and give it a try. So I took the opportunity, I came, and since the first day that I stepped foot into Journey, I haven't looked back. Automatically stepping in here and sitting in the ceremony, I felt loved, I felt at home, I felt safe. Things that was hard for me to feel, feelings that it was hard for me to feel because of all the toxicness that I was dealing with. But for sure, since I've came to Journey, all that's changed around. God has worked in so many ways in my life. I no longer deal with the toxic relationships, the domestic violence, the rock bottom that I hit was even more intense than any of that. And God has definitely showed me or answered a few of my questions and has never left me in the blues. Even on my hardest days, I can still push through and know that I'm not by myself. Along with that, small group has helped a lot. Being in the 20s group, doing life together, and having other people, be there for you and support you and walk with you has been a huge impact in my life. Not only my life, but my kids as well. They are more happier, they are safe more than anything, and they've seen how my life has changed tremendously since I've came to Christ. I got baptized last year in March through Journey, and it was for sure one of the best decisions I've made in my life. And all I can say is it's hard. It's hard to be young. It's hard to try and understand things when you're at that age, and I believe that if we're there for one another and pick each other up and just be the voice, be God's voice, and speak to people and do life together and know that He's always with us, I believe that can go a long way. I'm happy to say that I'm always at service. I go to small group every Wednesday. I have my close family that I call from Journey. And it's brought me a very long way. I'm definitely not where I was at. And I know that even on my toughest days, I know that God is there and I'm good. I'm going to be good. I'm always going to be good. My faith is strong. It gets stronger every day. And I'm just happy to be a part of Him, part of His church, part of this journey.